What up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm MoedotJ and we are locked in. This is episode 12 of Ozark season 4 part 2. Marty and Wendy. How are we going to fix this? You're going one way, he's going another way, and now y'all done got to a street fight and we need to figure out how to get y'all the hell up out of jail. Also, we know that Ruth, her and Rachel, they got a plan to take over. Now, maybe not take over everything, but take over. Now, before we jump into this episode, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel, you're gonna be a part of it. Hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Hit that like button, it's the easiest thing you can do. Now, Marty and Wendy, they got into this little street fight, and this is right after Camellia is about to take over the cartel. So we need to figure out, is Marty and Wendy gonna go to jail? And if they get out, what is the next move for the Byrde? So let's jump into it. This is episode 12 of Ozarks season 4. The signs for this episode: barbed wire, swimming pool, bottle of whiskey, and a guitar. Charlotte goes and picks up Jonah. Now he comes out with a backpack. Lord knows what's in that backpack. It's just some cash. But now these two are catching up because ever since Jonah moved over to the motel, they haven't really been talking. Now she's explaining there's no one to talk to at work. Jonah's talking about, yeah, I had to do some of my homework. So, you know, they're getting that siblings vibe back together. Charlotte and Jonah, they going to drop off 20,000 cash to get their parents out of jail. So that's what Jonah had in that book bag. Now, Marty and Wendy, they're both looking at each other because they know that, hey, we may have went a little bit too far and we already have a lot of eyes on us. But for us to be going to jail over something like this, we need to get right. Of course, it's back to business. They get home. Wendy's talking about, I'm going to call up Jim, see if we can go ahead and get these charges dropped. And Marty, he's coming to his senses also, talking about, I don't know what it was. But Wendy finally confesses that, I know I'm hard to love. I know I do some things that you may not agree with, and I'm sorry for that. But we got to put all that behind us. We got to get focused and move forward because we got to get Navarro up out of here. And we need to get right with our family. Mel is working overtime. He's making sure he gets every dollar from Grandpa. Now, we seen that he was the one to tell Helen's husband that she was dealing with the cartel. Now he's breaking that information to Grandpa and saying that this guy, he may be part of the cartel. And I think he was at the diner to pick up Ben. Now, Grandpa doesn't understand what's going on. But what he does know is his grandkids are in a bad situation. And I need to figure out what we going to do because I need to protect my family. And that's, of course, what a grandfather is going to do. And Mel's just relaying the information. Here's the first sign, and it's whiskey. Now, this is Wilkes, the guy that Jonah recommended him to him. He also owns a little bit of stake in the Bell, and he's telling Ruth, I'll help you guys out, and I'll even sell you my stake in the Bell. You put that with Darlene's, then you'll have a lot of control over what's going on. Now, he's telling them the easy way to do this is to put everything in Rachel's name. The hard thing is to try to get Ruth's record expunged. Since a lot of things happened when she was a minor, he's saying, I have a judge. The only thing is, Ruth, when you go in there, it's yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. You need to be professional and show her that you changed from your criminal past. At the Lazy O, the whole congregation is out there and they're having a little, little prayer group out here. Now, Sam, he's been going to it. He's working at the front desk, folding towels. Now, Grandpa's girlfriend, she's like, did you like that? And Sam's like, yeah, man, I did like it. It reminds me of Sunday school. So she starts asking him about what's going on because we already know that he's alone. He had a gambling problem. His girl left him. He got fired from the club. So right now, he really doesn't have anything, just taking orders from Ruth. Grandpa goes over to talk to his grandkids, and he's just letting them know in a couple of days, we're going to be leaving, headed back to Carolina. Now, he got the information from Mel that the family is potentially dealing with the cartel. So what he proposes to the kids is, hey, when I leave, I would like for you all to come and live with me in Carolina because he wants to keep them safe and away from any of the nonsense that their parents are in. Now, of course, both of them are quiet because they got their own thing going on here and they kind of, established their lives. They went from younger teenagers to where they are now. It's like, this is kind of where we're at, but they also want to get away from everything that's going on. Ruth has her first meeting with the judge. Now you can tell Ruth is a little awkward when she goes in here. She's kind of starting, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. So what the judge is doing is going over her records. Now she sees that a lot of the crimes that she committed was with her family. So Ruth What does she do? She's showing growth. She's showing change. She says, oh, I take full responsibility for those. But I gave up crime after my father had passed. So what she's trying to do is say that I admit to everything that I did when I was young, but as I've grown, I'm leaving that life alone. But what the judge does tell her is, listen, if I go through this record and find some stuff, you need to be prepared for that, because it could be some things that the cops miss. And also, if I do take all this off your record, if you do something bad, it's going to come back to me, because it's going to show my name expunged all of this. Can you handle that, Ruth? And of course, Ruth has to say yes if she wants this opportunity. Grandpa is in full protection mode. Wendy's like, who the? He's like, look, you let the kids come back with me. You let me protect them. She's like, no, I'm not doing that. He says, you know what Mel has on you. He knows what you're connected to. So unless you let the kids come back with me, we going to family court in 3 days, and I'm going to try to get custody of these kids and bring them back with me. Of course, Wendy does not want that to happen. She slams the door. She's upset. But Mel does have some valuable information. Marty and Wendy, they go and talk to Charlotte about it. She's like, well, we didn't say we were going to go, but it wouldn't be bad if we do go. Wendy does not want her kids to go with Grandpa, because she always felt like he was going to try to turn them against her. So what is her plan? She tells Marty, we're not going to let Mel testify. Now she's about to put in some more work to try to get Mel off this case. Now, mind you, this court date is in 3 days. The next sign is the guitar. The guitar was owned by Wyatt. Now it came up missing, and the acting sheriff, the deputy, the one that Wendy told to step up, he comes and tells Ruth, we may potentially have someone that committed the murder, because they pawned this off a couple of days before Wyatt and Darlene were dead, and he pawned off some jewelry. Now, Ruth, she wants the guitar back. Now, it is evidence, because we don't know if he really committed this crime or not, even though we know he didn't. It was hobby. So Ruth is saying, are you trying to be nice to me now because you heard I took over Darlene's property and I got Wyatt and Darlene's money? Because you got to remember, the Snells, they pretty much ran the Ozarks with how much money and property they had. And Ruth, she's next in line to have the most property and land owned in the Ozarks with that money. Of course, this acting deputy is acting good. He wants to act like the sheriff so he can be the sheriff. And with the good graces and blessings from Ruth, the largest landowner, the person with some money, connection to the Byrdes, I might be able to actually become the real sheriff for this place. Wendy being Wendy, working her political connections, they go back to Schaefer. And what her plan is to get Mel reinstated to the Chicago PD. You remember he got fired because he stole coke from the evidence room. Now Schaefer's like, he may be clean, but he still stole coke. Now, the only problem here is they also want a favor from Schaefer to get Navarro off the SDN list. Now, he doesn't really like the Byrdes like this, so he tells them, you got to either choose. Do you want Mel back on the Chicago PD so he can't testify, or do you want to get Navarro off the SDN list so you can get him extradited back down to Mexico? Now, this is a tough decision here because they need both of them. Now, this is going to hurt them because they need both of them, but they need Mel reinstated to the Chicago PD within 3 days. And also, they still need to figure out what they're going to do with Navarro. Now, Wendy calls Jim, and Jim is saying with Schaefer, you're going to need at least 4 to 5 powerful people to make up for the connections he has. And what does Schaefer want? Schaefer said, look, if you can do my grandson's voting booths, we're just going to make them some money and they can pretty much rig some stuff. But then we can have a deal. So they got to take 2 different routes and they're stuck in between. I'm talking working overtime now. They got to meet with a lot of different people. They might have it with Schaefer and Jim might be working his stuff behind scenes. So, of course, they got to go to the next man. Hey, is there any way we can get Mel reinstated here? We agree with him. He's doing a hell of a job out here. Now, he's saying he still stole coke. They like, all right, yeah. We can get past that. So basically, he's saying he will reinstate Mel onto the Chicago police force. All he wanted to do was ever ride across one of the Great Lakes in a boat. The only problem is he doesn't have a boat. AKA, if y'all buy me a boat, we can make that happen. Back at the trailer park, you see Ruth out here shooting a shotgun into a trailer. And she's saying she's just redecorating a little bit. Now, Rachel pulls up. Ruth, they potentially have who the suspect is for the murder of Darlene and Wyatt, even though we know Javi's already dead. So Rachel's asking, what does she know about everything? And Ruth, she's trying to say, if I do tell, then I'm gonna go to jail for the rest of my life because she actually killed the murderer. So Rachel says, look, this is the best information I can give to you. Don't take any information or advice from me. Then she grabs a shotgun and puts a few into the trailer. The judge told Ruth that I'm gonna do a pop-up on you and just see how you're living. Now you remember Ruth was up last night, smart little kid here. She was shooting holes into one of the trailers and she was sleeping on the couch. So when the judge pulled up, she looks at the trailer. It's got bullet holes in it. And Ruth's like, oh, that was my dad's. Now, of course, the judge is doubting Ruth. She's looking at the living conditions and she's looking at the crimes that she committed. But Ruth says, listen, if you clean me up, I will do everything possible to stay clean. Now, the judge is hearing this and she's like, all right, I might take a chance on this kid because Ruth is playing the part. Yeah, I had a troubled past, but I'm trying to make the best of what I have moving forward. The Byrdes got the information they needed and we're good to go. Hey, Mel, you're going to be reinstated. So they show up and they have a little meal with him and they're saying, look, you can be a Chicago PD, report back tomorrow. This is so he doesn't have to testify against him. Now, Mel, you hear him saying for the last 4 years, all I ever wanted to do was be a cop again. And then he asks, what did y'all do to pull this off? Y'all bought the fat guy a boat? They didn't say anything. All we need for you to do, Mel, is to leave the Ozarks right now and go to Chicago. Get the hell out of here, man. The next sign is the swimming pool. And what is this? This is Sam getting baptized. He had a lot of troubles in his life, but now he's giving his life to the Lord. So hopefully this will help him out and let him bounce back. I mean, he has a little job here. We're going to see how that plays out. The only thing I can see about this is since he didn't gave his life to the Lord, he might start talking a little bit more than what he already does and give away valuable information. But he is baptized by Grandpa's girlfriend. Ruth hears that Jonah and Charlotte, they're probably going to go back to Carolina with Grandpa. So what she wants to do is give our boy Jonah, his best friend, his Uncle Ben's ashes. Because she says, I don't think he would want us splitting them up like bags of sugar. Now, Jonah, his relationship with Ruth, she's became like a mentor to him. I won't say sister figure because they weren't that close. They just worked closely together. And guess what? Ruth just got her whole record expunged. And that's because Jonah did it. Now, I told you these two, they work close together. And that's good. Jonah's like, dang, how does it feel? She was like, kind of feels normal. The next sign is the barbed wire because they're at the prison. They're meeting with Omar. They got to talk to him about the SDN list and also what exactly is going on with the cartel. Now, when they get in there, they didn't expect Camellia to be in here, but you got to remember, they put her in charge of the cartel. Now, Navarro wants to know what exactly is going on because we got to spread more money out to the lieutenants. I need y'all to launder more money and we need more land because we need more product. Also, with the SDN list, what's the update status on that? Oh, we're working on it. He tells Wendy, I don't want it done in months. I don't want it done in weeks. I need to be out of here in a couple of days so I can get back to Mexico and run things. Now, this is a lot of pressure on the Byrdes because they can't make that happen. They already lost the most powerful guy, Schaefer, and they have to figure out what exactly they're going to do because they also told Mel that he's going to be back on the Chicago PD. Now, what does Wendy do to get Senator Schaefer back on her side? She calls and he's like, what news do you have for me, Wendy? Look, we'll do the voting booths for your grandson. At this point, Navarro is putting that pressure on them, so they got to go ahead and fold. And usually that's how it happens. You just wait and they'll give in. You put out a deal out there. If they really want it bad enough, they'll come back. Ruth shows up to talk to the guy that stole her cousin Wyatt's guitar. Now she's talking to him. He's like, I seen you around before. You're a Langmore. Now you got to remember, everyone in Ozarks, they know the Snells. They own the most property, and everyone knew the Langmores. They were the trailer park trash, the ones that were robbing and stealing and doing all the nonsense. So he's saying, look, I stole some stuff, but I didn't kill your cousin. Now, Ruth, what is she doing? She's going to go ahead and pin this murder on him. And she's not going to say anything saying, I don't think you didn't kill my cousin. This is just for the simple fact it won't come back on her. He's like, look, I may have stole that stuff from Darlene and Wyatt and pawned it off, But I didn't do that murder. You hear me? I didn't do that. She said, well, you did something. Ruth is cold-blooded. Eminem, Mel and Miller, they meet up. And he's basically telling her, look, I don't know what the Byrdes did, but they got me back on the Chicago PD. And this is what I've always been wanting to do. Ever since I got fired, I wanted to get back in there. That's my job. That's my passion. Now, Miller is saying, hey, you're getting bent up like a pretzel. What you're doing right now, I did that before. What you need to do what's right. Have some integrity. But Mel, he's really thinking about it, man. Forget this. I got some stability back at the police force. Being a private investigator. Being a police officer sounds a little bit better. That's Mel talking, not me, people. I'll never be a cop. Miller's calling Marty and she is upset. Just when Mel was getting his life back on track, he was doing good as a PI. Marty and them, they remove him from his situation. Now, Miller is upset about this. She told Marty, you had a chance. Yeah, Marty had a chance. When he came back to re-up on that chance, you told him he was just another criminal. So, what did another criminal do? He did some things legally, a little bit frowned upon, unethical, but throw a little bit of money around, you can make some stuff happen. And Mel got his job back. That's what he wanted, right? Now it's court time. Mel's packing up. He's headed back to Chicago, and the judge is asking, hey, Mr. Nathan, where's your testimony at? Who's coming here to testify? Now he's like, look, I can't do it without, saying this credible information. So he's calling Mel, but Mel isn't answering. Mel's about to head back to Chicago. Since Mel didn't show up, the judge got, hey, I got a tight schedule here. So you know what? We're gonna go straight into making a ruling. When he's like, a ruling, there wasn't even a trial. She said, yeah, well, we're still gonna make a ruling here. Since Charlotte is close enough to being 18, she's old enough to make her own decision. And since Jonah is only 15, but he's old enough to live at a motel, he can also make his own decision. So kids, it's up to you. Stay in Ozarks or go with Grandpa. Now the kids are outside, and of course the parents are talking to him. Stay with us. You hear Marty saying Grandpa is not a good man. Jonah calls him out. You only saying that because of Mom. Now Marty doesn't really have a problem with him because Grandpa ain't really did nothing to him. But the kids have a tough decision. Do they want to stay here or do they want to go with Grandpa? And you hear Wendy talking about, no, don't go with him. Please stay with me. They got Wendy out front on her hands and knees. Dad, please don't take the kids with you. He said, Wendy, get up off your knees and making a fool of yourself out here. I'm taking those kids and I'm going to protect them. Grandpa was right to get rid of them up out of the Ozarks and take them back with him. Because right now, it ain't no telling where any of this can happen. And if this was in the real world, you'd want your kids away from anything dealing with the cartel. There you go. Ozark season 4, episode 12. Let me know what you think. And you can answer for both of them, Charlotte and Jonah. If you had this opportunity, would you stay in the Ozarks, continue to make the money and live the life you are, potentially in danger from the cartel? Or would you just pick up everything and go start fresh in Carolina with Grandpa? Let me know what you think. I'm MoedotJ. If you like the content on the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.